Hello Taste Buds, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Join me today as I make arepa, the tastiest export from South America since,
Shakira!
Yeah. Okay, boys. Join me today as I give you some of my favorite arepa recipes. Next on SoFlo Taste. You could have said Sofia Vergara. This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida and the people who love it. Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste. Welcome Taste Buds, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Welcome to the Goya Kitchen here at J World in Coconut Creek. Have you ever had an arepa? Living in South Florida, you probably have. In fact, some of you make them at home, like me. For those who don't know, arepas are wonderful little stuffed cornmeal cakes that can be eaten anytime for any meal from early morning to late night. So today I thought it would be fun to give you some of my recipes for them. So let's get cooking. I'm going to teach you the Venezuelan arepa, and I have a little cast iron pan here, which instead of just pouring any fat into, I'm actually going to use a paper towel and just kind of brush it with oil as I heat it. All right, so here we go with the Venezuelan arepa. The Colombian arepa happens to be a little more, I guess you could say, fatty. It has some cheese, it has oil, it's a little creamy, but it can also go both ways. It can be a little on the stiffer side as well. The Venezuelan is always a bit, I hate to use the word stiff, but it's really just the flour, the arepa flour, and these are arepa flours, by the way. All of them are arepa flour, and don't confuse arepa flour for masteca. Masa harina is what you make tamales and tacos out of. Masa arepa is actually a raw, soaked, lye-soaked corn that you make masa arepa flour out of. Whereas the tamale and taco flour, masa harina, is actually a cooked corn. There's your difference. So for the Venezuelan arepa, I'm just going to go really, really simple with it today. We have the flour in here, and it's about equal parts of flour to warm water. You can also use warm milk if you want to, but usually you would find that they use water. Now, you can also add a little bit of oil or butter or ghee to this if you want to. This has a sprinkling of salt in it. I'm going to go pretty straight with just the water. I'm going to work the dough a little bit until it gets to where I want it to be. It needs just a little bit more water. And the dough really does do better when you let it sit for just a few minutes after you make the dough, kind of like any dough would. So now that it's all pretty much come together, and I believe I have enough liquid in here, then you really just want to work it. And usually I work it with my hand, but today I'm just going to use a rubber spatula. And you just want to kind of push it down, fold it over, and you keep working it. I like to work it for at least 4 to 5 minutes, and it really softens up in your hands. And then, like I said, cover it, let it sit for a good 8 to 10 minutes. And then the dough looks like this one. Look how soft and pliable it is. You can pretty much get it into any shape. It's really lovely. So you can make these arepas. The traditional ones are approximately ½ an inch thick. So first I'm just going to roll it into a ball, and then you just start flattening it a little bit and shaping it around as you go. And these aren't breaking, but if they happen to start breaking on the edges, you basically just use your fingers to kind of tuck it in and work the dough. And like I said, it's extremely pliable. It's very forgiving. So there you go, about ½ an inch thick. So our pan is smoking, which is actually a great thing. We're going to go straight down. So the intense heat is usually at the beginning. You want to get a really good crust on the arepa, and then You get a crust on the other side, and then you start flipping it over and over and over until it is cooked on the inside and on the outside. The Venezuelan arepas are eaten a lot like sandwiches, which is really just delicious. And for this sandwich, I've decided to go with this grated Venezuelan cheese, which is really just like ricotta salata. And it's really yummy. And you can find this in any good Latin market, but I think you can probably get it at larger grocery stores as well. I've decided to make a ham and cheese sandwich. So we've got sliced ham, avocado, and a little bit of mayonnaise with our shredded cheese. So when you come back, hopefully these arepas will be fully cooked. We can go ahead and stuff them and jump right into 2 different types of Colombian arepas. Please come right back. I have so much to show you and so much to nibble on. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. The predecessor of today's arepa was a staple in the northern Andes of Venezuela. Other tribes in the region widely consumed a form made from yuca. With the colonization by the Spanish, the food that would become the arepa was diffused into the rest of the region. No matter what their history, let's go ahead and make some. So our first arepas are basically done. Like I said, we got a really hard, good sear on both sides, and then I've been kind of just flipping them over and over, waiting for them to be done. And I can feel on the outside they're getting crisp, and they feel like they are cooked on the inside. So I'm going to start pulling these out so we can make our sandwiches. All right. So I hope you like ham and cheese, and if not, you can be like my son and just eat cheese, because that's what he loves his arepas to be filled with. So let's go ahead and slice this avocado. I'll peel it first and then slice it up. All right, so we have sliced avocado, which would be delicious in there. Let's go ahead and open up the arepa, which the knife, by the way, slides in really easily. And then let's fill it. I love a little bit of mayonnaise in it. I hope I'm not offending anyone by doing that. This is obviously my arepa. And then a nice slice of the ham. And of course, some avocado. And then as much cheese as possible. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put the arepa on the plate because this part gets really dirty. A good old mountain of grated Venezuelan cheese goes right over the top before topping it off. And there is the delicious Venezuelan arepa. And I love that. I think that's delicious. That's my son's favorite one. But let's go ahead and learn how to make a Colombian arepa. So I've already formed a couple here because I have the dough resting, but let's go ahead and jump right into the dough. So here is obviously the same exact masa arepa flour as before. However, I'm going to add to it some grated mozzarella cheese, a little bit of oil, and a pinch of salt. Let's go ahead and add, let me mix that first. Let's go ahead and add the water. And I add just a little bit more water than flour, whereas in the Venezuelan arepa, it was exactly the same, water to flour. So let's go ahead and mix that up. And what you'll get is obviously a softer, even more pliable dough than the Venezuelan one. Just a little bit more water. Nice. And here we go. And just like in the Venezuelan one, you're gonna keep working this and working this and working this for about 5 minutes, and then you get a beautiful dough like this one. And this one's a little bit fattier and a little bit creamier. So I was just making a couple different ones. So I've decided to, and let me move this pot of water so you can really see. I've decided to fry, like deep fry some of the arepas and sear some of the arepas. And the ones that are deep fried will be the nice thick ones, just like the shape that we had in the last. I'm going to go ahead and add that into the oil. We've got oil set at 350 degrees, and that's just vegetable oil. And then the ones that I'm searing, I'm going to go ahead and flatten because these will not open like a sandwich. These we're going to actually put food on top of. So let's go ahead and use the same process that we did before. We'll take a little paper towel, get our cast iron nice and hot, and just brush it with oil again so that we don't have any stickage. So again, same exact dough. We're just going to form 2 of them nice and flat so we can put the food on top of it, and the other one good and crispy and fried and thick so we can open that up and put yummy stuff inside of it like a sandwich. So I'm going to flatten these out almost to about a little bigger than a 1/4 inch thick. All right, so when you come back, the arepas should be cooked and fried, and these in the pan should be beautifully browned, and then we'll see how we can play with that and make something delicious together.
There's still more from the Goya Kitchen at JA World and Michelle.
Back to SoFlo Taste. We are here at JA World in Coconut Creek. For information about this wonderful place and what they do here for our kids, even during a pandemic, go to jasouthflorida.org or call 954-979-7100. Now back to the arepas. All right, the crispy ones look gorgeous. Let's go ahead and pull them out of the oil. I feel like I should only talk in Spanish right now. Vamos a sacar las arepas del aceite, porque ya están doradas. Sorry, I said that in the most obnoxious Argentine accent. All right, I'm gonna flip over the flat ones because they're looking pretty good too, but they just need a couple more minutes. So I brought a variety of goodies, mainly for the flat ones to put on top. I brought you a little bit of stewed beef. This actually comes from my restaurant Café La Trova. It's actually Arepa Vieja, but any kind of a delicious stewed beef. Also some frijoles negros or black beans. So let's make a little something fun with the fried one. Let's go ahead and cut it open. And this is really crispy on the outside. Oh yes. And look at that pocket of love right there. It's a little warm, but so yummy. So I really don't think this needs more than just a little bit more cheese on the inside. Just like so, and call it a day. I'm gonna do the other one as well. You'll want a nice sharp knife to get in there because it's like really, really, really crispy, crunchy. Let's fill this one with a little bit of frijoles negros or black beans. And then some queso. And by the way, this is all Colombian cheese as well. And then I've made some pickled onions. To get the recipe for these, of course, go to SoFloTaste.com for this recipe, but of course all my recipes are always there. And check this one out with the black beans and pickles. Ah, that's so yummy. I can't handle it. So there's that one. And by the way, when I was in Colombia, I was there a few times, but the last time I had arepas with hot chocolate, but it wasn't that it was just the hot chocolate. They actually took some of this delicious cheese and crumbled it up. Don't freak out, it's so good. I know I'm getting some shaking heads and rolling eyes. It is so delicious. Stop it, you guys. So what you do is you sip the sweetness from the top. So good. And then using a spoon, you go ahead and grab those melty sweet pieces of the queso. For those of you that haven't had this yet, you have no idea what you're missing. It's like this delicious, sweet, salty experience. Ay, que rico. All right, I'm putting that there. All right, moving on to, I just want to drink that hot chocolate. Moving on to the last arepa. Oh, beautiful. So for these, I'm going to leave these flat. And we're going to top them off with a little bit of my ropa vieja recipe, which, by the way, it's churrasco steak stewed for hours with peppers and onions and juices, and oh, it's so good. So right over the top of that, and then I'm going to take a little bit of the cheese and just crumble it right over the top. And why not some more pickled onions? They are beautiful and delicious, and it just cuts right through the fat with its acidity, like so. Ahí está. All right, there we have it. So you have the two different styles of Colombian arepa, a beautiful Venezuelan arepa sandwich, but I'm not done. No, I'm not done. So come right back.
Join me, design expert ALENA CAPRA, for SoFlo Home Project, immediately following SoFlo Taste.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste and my arepa show. I hope that you will try one or all of these recipes in your house. It is a really big favorite in ours, especially for breakfast. So I wanted to just give you one last thing to take with you, because it's something we sip on when we're having arepas in our house, and it's just feels so good and refreshing to drink. So I'm going to teach you how to make a quick passion fruit drink. So this is just frozen passion fruit pulp. Now, the ones that I always buy are all natural. They never have any sugar in them, so you have to add a lot of sugar. Now, my son doesn't know this, and please don't tell him, I actually don't add true sugar into his drinks, any of them. He doesn't know this. So I've been buying this stuff. It's monk sweetener. I've read about it. It seems very safe and good. If you want to use true sugar or a substitute, it's all good. This is probably the best one I found. I use it for my coffee every day. So it's 1-to-1 sugar to this stuff. And then I'm just going to add some ice. And let her rip. And sometimes you need a little help. So this beautifully cold, refreshing drink is what we love to have on warm days like these, especially with arepas. So it's very, very cold now, but as it melts, it gets even better. My son loves it as is, but if you need to add a little bit of mango juice, as it's a lot sweeter, you can. You can add water to this, or if you want, you can absolutely add a can of condensed milk, which definitely has a lot of sweetness, so be careful not to add much extra. Yum. And there's my maracuya. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make arepas, and now it's your turn to enjoy making some at your home. They're easy, they're versatile, and darn tasty. Next week, what's delicious, fuzzy, and grows on a tree? I've got the best recipes for peaches you'll ever eat on the next SoFlo Taste. Now let's check in with my pal and design expert, ALENA CAPRA, to see what's coming up next on SoFlo Home Project. Hi, ALENA.
Hi, Michelle. Good morning. So, did you know that some of the latest design trends reflect us wanting to connect more with nature? Coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we show you how to bring the outdoors in with beautiful wall coverings.
Okay, ALENA, thanks. We'll stay tuned. So, taste buds, be smart, be safe, and be vaccinated. And I'll see you next week. And as always, please support your local growers and restaurants. They need it. Goodbye, good health, and good taste. Arepa.